What is going on, guys? It's Real Touch GML here, back with another GameMaker Minecraft tutorial. And today what we're going to be doing is looking at actually creating an animation for destroying our blocks, right? So if we just go into it now, what we have is basically just a quick click and the blocks get destroyed. And I'll go ahead and showcase that right now. So as you can see, they get destroyed very, very easily. And it doesn't matter if it's stone, dirt, whatever it might be, it's all the same amount of, of time to break it, which is essentially 0. So what I've done is in my sprites here, I went ahead and created an SPR break sprite. And this is a very bad animation of it, just sort of like cracking and breaking down, and that's basically what we're gonna be overlaying on top of our grass block image to simulate it cracking and so forth. So make sure this is transparent. I have 5 frames here. Don't center it or anything like that. This should be good. Alright, so what we're going to do is in each one of our actual blocks here, we're going to set a variable to have its toughness rating, I should say. So basically, we're going to say tough equals, and here's where you're going to put how many seconds you want, how many seconds should it take for the block to actually get destroyed. So for grass, I'm going to say 1 second. Okay, I'm going to copy this. For dirt, it's going to take about a half a second. So this is going to be 0.5. All right. Stone, that's going to take a little bit longer. So in here, I'm going to say 3 seconds. Water, we actually can't break water. Or we can just leave water how it is. Tree, if we go ahead and bring this up here. The tree, we're going to make 2 seconds. We'll make that 3 seconds. And actually I want to make the stone. It's the stone. And this is just for hand. This stuff will actually go down once we get the pickaxes by like adding to the speed, checking if it has pickaxe and stuff. So stone will take 5 seconds. The leaf can take equals, we'll say half a second as well. All right, so we should have everything down. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go into my object block here. We're going to have to do this for the ghost block as well, but we can just do it for the block right now. And right here in the left pressed, actually, let's go ahead and create a variable first. Let's go ahead and take that. So first off, we're going to say is breaking, and that's going to equal false because we're not breaking it right off the bat. And another thing we're going to do is the image, or no, we'll just call it index equals 0. And this is going to be the actual index for our breaking sprite. All right, so if we left press it, we're going to check if it's visible. And let's go and put this in brackets because we're going to have more than one. And not is breaking. Right? We're gonna then what we're gonna do is we are going to set is breaking to true and alarm 0 to equal tough times 30. Now we're doing times 30 because that is our actual room speed, and that's how fast we're gonna be ticking through. That's basically like our FPS, right? So now so if we wanted 2 seconds. It would be 2 times 30, which would be 60, so it would set alarm 0 to 60. So in our alarm 0, we are going to check if index is less than 4. I believe that should work. Index plus plus. Now, if you're not using GM Studio, you can say plus equals 1, but plus plus if you're using GM Studio. And alarm 0 equals tough times 30. There we go. Else is breaking equals false. There we go. So I'm actually doing this as I go right now, so I might actually be wrong here. I'm just kind of freestyling this code, so I'm pretty sure this should work, but you know, there's always that slight case that it won't. So now in our draw event, what we're gonna do is gonna go ahead and if is breaking, we're gonna draw the sprite SPR break at index at XY. And actually in our alarm 0 here, we need to set index back to 0. And then we can actually instance destroy. So if we actually instance destroy it, we probably don't even need to reset the variables, but I'm just going to do it anyways. Alright, so let's go ahead and try that. Let's go and run it. And okay, we get an error. Is breaking. Did I misspell it? If is breaking. Let's just check here. Okay, right. So we actually, this create event doesn't actually get called, so we're going to need to put it into our object grass and all of our actual objects here. Since we do have an actual, since we do have the create event being called in our child, it does not actually get called in the parent. So yeah, that happened. So we just need to quickly put in these variables here, which is not a big deal. All right. So there we go. Just close everything up so it looks good, and we run it. And here we go. So it's running, that's a good start. If we go and click, oh, and it's gone. Okay, that took more than a second though, which it shouldn't have taken more than a second. That's taken a good 5 seconds. And you'll notice that actually we can just press it, and if we release, we don't have to actually hold on to it, which is we don't want that. All right, so the actual problem was that it's looping through each one of these frames 1 second at a time. So since there are 5 frames here, all we really need to do is just take this and divide it by 5. And same with alarm 0. Divided by 5. Since there are 5 frames in the break animation. If you had a more detailed animation, it took 8, then divide it by 8. So here we go. And now it breaks a lot faster. Whoa. And as you can see, dirt takes a little bit longer. Or dirt takes a little bit faster, so it's a little bit faster here. And you could just kind of play around with these. But now there is the problem. There is a problem that you know, you can just click it and release and then it's all good, which we don't actually want. So let's fix that now. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is kind of duplicate this event and say mouse left released. And in here, what I'm going to do is just set is breaking to false and indexed equals 0. And then in alarm 0, what I'm going to say is and is breaking. And also for this, we're going to check if is breaking. Oh, whoops, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to save it. And let's go ahead and run it now. Let's test it. So here we go. So I click and I release. And it actually doesn't follow through with the breaking animation. But now if I follow through, it breaks. There is one more slight problem, and that is I can actually bring my mouse all the way over here while still holding it down and press it. There we go. So we don't actually want that. And actually, you know what? Let's change this to global left released. Because that was my mistake. Because we don't actually, if we kind of take it off quickly, like that, and then release in midair, it will still, since we didn't release the mouse on top of the block, it's not going to actually say, hey, this is, you know, it's actually releasing, so it's just going to follow through with the animation. And we actually didn't do this yet because that is a ghost block. So in order to keep our mouse on there, in the step event, we're going to say if is breaking, if mouse x underscore x is greater than x and mouse underscore x is less than x plus 32. If mouse underscore y is greater than y and mouse underscore y is greater, or I'm sorry, is less than y plus 32, is breaking, whoops, is breaking equals true. Else is breaking equals false. And we can actually, let's actually make this code a little bit nicer. So let's add the brackets in here. Let's say else, or not else. We need another if statement here, and then another bracket, and then another bracket. Sorry, I'm just cleaning up the code here. And then what we're gonna do, and let me just bring this over here. Boom, boom. There we go. So that is probably pretty confusing. This just makes sure that our mouse is always in the actual coordinates of our. Hold on, I need to change one thing here. This makes sure that our mouse is always in the coordinates of our block. So let's just do that. We need to make sure we set index to equal 0. So now if we run it, this should work. And let's restart it. And it doesn't work for some reason. Let me check. Alright, actually what we're going to do is we're just going to move this code and bring it into alarm 0 here. And inside this, we're going to plop this down, except we're going to take that and put it right in here. Okay, so that should work now. Yeah, let me test it. And then I'll go back and actually explain that. Yeah, there we go. So now you have to actually keep your mouse hovered on the block. There we go. So now let's work our way down to the stone, which should take a lot longer than the actual. Here we go. So if we do this, 4, 5, and it's done. There we go. So now stone takes a hell of a lot longer than the actual dirt and grass up here. There we go. Cool. So let me go ahead and just explain this real quick. And then what you're going to want to do is just basically copy everything down for the ghost block. And I mean, we can pretty much, let's see here, just copy everything from the block and then put it to the ghost block. I'm not going to do that now because that just takes time, But yeah, so that's all you really need to do. Let me go ahead and explain this code real quick. Basically, it's just checking if our mouse coordinates are within the are greater than the x, which is the origin is 0, so it's greater than 0 on the block, and the mouse is less than the 0 on the block plus the width, so this is our width here, 32. Same with y, is greater than the 0 and less than the height. That means that our mouse is hovering over the block, which is pretty cool. And then if it's not, then we're just setting index to 0 and all this fun stuff. All right, so go and go and subscribe. A little bit longer tutorial, but I think it is worth it. Let's try for 80 likes this time. I hope you guys learned a thing or two, and I will, of course, see you guys next time. Peace.